With 2.0 Rinascita around the corner, a whole new set of upcoming characters, new echoes, and completely game-changing mechanics are coming. But to me, I think the most important addition is going to be the newest echoes. Not only do future characters pretty much depend on them to function, some of the old characters might get some upgrades as well. So we'll go through all 5 new echo sets coming in 2.0 and sort of talk about how they will change the current character roster we have. So starting with Eternal Radiance, the new Spectro set, we can see that the 2-piece will give 10% Spectro damage. That's the same as the current set we have. And the 5-piece has an ability where enemies inflicted with Spectro Frazzle increases crit rate by 20%, which is already insane. And then attacking enemies with 10 stacks of Spectro Frazzle grants 15% Spectro damage bonus. So just to clarify, for some people that may not know, what Spectro Frazzle is a DOT effect that occurs when Spectro elemented enemies and characters attack. So for example, if you ever see this debuff on your character, that's because a Spectro enemy is attacking you, applying a debuff over time. But what some people may not know is Spectro characters also apply this same debuff to enemies. Although it does not pop up next to the enemy bar, it does happen. So unfortunately, this set can only solely be used by Spectro characters. And if we look at the current roster of all our Spectro characters, we have 2 supports, Farina and Shorekeeper, who are not going to use this. They don't really do damage. Spectro Rover isn't really going to do any damage. They're not really a main DPS role, and so we're only left with Jinxie. And to be fair, Jinxie can use this set pretty well. So if we look at what the current Spectro set does, it gives the same amount of 10% Spectro damage, and then when using intro skill, Spectro damage is increased by 30%. So you get 15% less Spectro damage as a trade-off for 20% crit rate. Personally, I think that's a major upgrade. I think the 20% crit rate does have a lot more value. It does depend on your echo pieces, but I'd say overall, this set is definitely an upgrade for Jinxie. Again, if you don't want to farm a completely new set because maybe your pieces are already cracked, it's not like it's going to completely change the game for her. Absolutely insane. And then for the future characters, Phoebe will be using this set as well, which of course we already know. She's pretty much designed for this set, or this set was designed for her. Moving on to Midnight Veil. This is the new Havoc set, so it has the same 10% Havoc damage. And then the 5-piece, when outro skill is triggered, which every character can do, it deals Havoc damage. Considered outro skill damage, that's fine. And it grants the incoming resonator 15% Havoc damage bonus for 15 seconds. So I would like to state right off the bat that this set can be used by anyone. The only requirement is that an outro skill needs to be triggered. So for example, if you have a Camellia as your main DPS and you have a Sanhua as your sub DPS, you can put Midnight Veil on your Sanhua to buff your Camellia coming in with 15% Havoc damage bonus. This set is not exclusive to Havoc users, even though they may not use the Havoc damage of 10% on the 2-piece. The 5-piece is really where the value is. However, is it better than the Moonlit set that we have, where it gives energy regen and 22.5% attack? Honestly, overall, no. It does not. And although this set does look like it was meant for Rocha, it is not necessary for her to use this set, as Moonlit still has a ton of value for sub DPS roles. So I'd say for current characters that fill a sub DPS role, which we have a lot of, it can work. Specifically for Havoc DPS characters. For example, even Danjin or Havoc Rover can hold this piece if they're buffing one another, whichever one's going to take the sub DPS role. And it can also open up the possibility for having a dual sub DPS team with no healer or support, and you can have one running Moonlit and the other running Midnight Veil just to combine some different buffs. Although I don't think that would perform better than the healing set, because Rejuvenating Glow is pretty decent, providing the entire team 15% attack. Okay, now let's move on to the new Glacio set, Frosty Resolve. To be fair though, I'm going to cover this quickly because I did cover it in the Carlotta guide. Pretty much the TLDR is 2-piece is Resonance Skill damage bonus, 5-piece is skill bonus and Resonance Liberation bonus, which can stack up 2 times if the character can ult twice, which the only character that can do that so far is Carlotta. She's the only character in the game currently that can take full value from this set. And for all the other Glacio characters that you're thinking might be able to use this set, it's not gonna work. Maybe you can do a DPS Juja where she gets the Glacio and skill damage bonus, but she's not gonna get both stacks to fully utilize the 36% because she cannot ult twice. Again, Carlotta is the only character that can ult twice, so if you're gonna get Carlotta, then Frosty Resolve is a must farm. Otherwise, this set is pretty much unusable on everyone else. Next up, Tide Breaking Courage. So the 2-piece is 10% energy regen, and the 5-piece increases the Resonator's attack by 15%, and when the holder reaches 250% energy regen, it increases all attribute damage bonus by 30% for the Resonator. Okay, so I would like to state that it is a little confusing with this description when it says for the Resonator. Other sites and sources say that it increases attribute damage by 30% for the on-fielder or the current character. But let's start with the 250% energy regen. What characters function at that much energy regen? Well, it really is only Shorekeeper and Verena. Mainly, those are the two big ones. And if we look at the rest of the set, where it increases the Resonator's attack by 15%, this could improve Verena's healing, but that's pretty much pointless. And then the 2-piece energy regen could be used by pretty much anyone. So is this an upgrade over the current set that we have, which is Rejuvenating Glow, where there's a 10% heal increase, that's negligible, and then it increases 15% of teammates' attack. So I would say for Verena, you're better off just keeping Rejuvenating Glow, keeping that set that you've already pre-farmed. For Shorekeeper, she can get a little bit more value out of this, because also there is a thing with Verena not having to reach 250% energy regen, where Shorekeeper wants to be at 250% to max out her crit buffs. So I'd say currently this set is really only designed for Shorekeeper, and comparing it to Rejuvenating Glow, it is a slight upgrade. Again, the wording here is a little confusing. It is 30% attribute damage bonus for the on-fielder. So if you have Shorekeeper, this set is worth farming for. It is a little bit of an upgrade. It's nothing game-changing, but I would say go for it for your Shorekeepers. Everyone else doesn't use it at all. And then finally, we're left with Empyrean Anthem. So the 2-piece gives 10% energy regen again, and the 5-piece gives increased Resonator coordinated attack damage by 80%. And when the Resonator does a crit from a coordinated attack, it increases the on-fielder Resonator's attack by 20%. So this set is surprisingly strong. I'd say it's the strongest set coming in 2.0 because it's going to be the most universal set coming in 2.0. Any coordinated attacker can use this set and will be an upgrade half the time. I will say, again, Moonlit is a very strong sub DPS set, so it is hard to compete with this set. However, what's really unique about this is that Moonlit buffs the next Resonator, where Empyrean Anthem buffs the active Resonator. Plus, the buffs last for 4 seconds every time a coordinated attack hits, so it can pretty much last for a very long time. For example, holders of this set would be Zhe or Yinlin. Yuan Wu can hold this set as well, maybe even more Teffy. Pretty much the buff that comes from this set will not go away when you swap your on-fielder, so you can do combinations of no support, no healing team comps where you have a sub DPS holding Moonlit and then another sub DPS holding Empyrean Anthem. It does open opportunities for new comps like that, but is this an upgrade over Moonlit? I would say generally it is very slightly. Farming a completely new set is really annoying, especially if you have really strong Moonlit Cloud sets. Comparing this set to Moonlit, it really does come down to whatever has better substats, but if you are farming for a new character, future 2.0 characters, or you haven't built Yinlin or Zhe yet, I would say that this set is a slight upgrade over Moonlit. It is very much worth it.